Hello, listeners! Welcome to a new month of Theme on Screen. This month, we're reviewing animated movies. Movies about animals, movies about plumbers, movies about animated emotional trauma. I'm your host, Caitlin Petrie.
And I'm your best friend, Paul Gursky. That's right, this month we're discussing all things animated, and surprisingly, no Timothy Chalamet. So let's get started now with Theme on Screen. Did you like how I ad-libbed the intro? I changed it from
It
host to best
was,
friend.
yeah, you were taking like a real risk there.
Yeah.
Like a real risk because you're not my best friend, and I don't know if the listeners would consider you a best friend at this point. But
Well, yeah,
I
I wasn't
mean,
implying
give
that
us
I
the
was your
feedback.
best friend. I was implying that I'm everyone's best friend because that's
Like
why
a
they tune into the
singular,
podcast.
like a
Yeah, I'm
whole
just like
group.
the internet's best friend.
That's a lofty proposal. How's it going though, internet best friend? How you
So
doing?
I'm trying out a new thing where I have a new hat.
Like every episode you'll have a new hat?
No, that sounds expensive. I don't really wear hats a lot, but I got a new hat. I previously had one plain Tiger's hat, so now I have one that's kind of like orange.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's important to get
Caitlin
gear.
says it looks too big on my head. Katie said it looked great though. So internet, we're gonna put a poll up on our Instagram, and you let me know if you think this hat looks too big on my head. I do realize I have headphones over it, so it does look a little weird, but I like my new hat.
I don't hate the new hat. It was just surprising to open the camera and see you with a hat.
Yeah, I'm not really a hat guy because I have a full head of hair, so I don't have anything to hide. And most people think that my hair is one of my best. Well, let's be fair. My only good feature is my hair. So I don't
Yeah.
like to hide it often. And I don't know. I just like this hat. I think the colors are cool. So that's my new thing. Just hats, but just one
Okay.
hat specifically.
I'm here.
This
I'm here
hat.
for it.
Yeah.
I
How
will
are
not be
you?
wearing a hat. Hatless and tired. Hatless
Yeah,
and
I'm
tired.
tired too. Why are we even podcasting?
I don't know. It's not the best day for it, but I'm really gonna get it together for the listeners. It's just been a busy week, like all around. Work has been busy. I mean, yeah, I still got in like 8 movies, but I actually did a lot of work this week.
I am sorry to hear that. Were you up late last night hitting the sauce?
No, I don't drink on Wednesdays.
Hmm.
Uh, I was up on the sauce in the sense of if a movie is sauce. I did watch something that's been on my watch list, so that was a good feeling.
Oh, are we gonna move right into some movie chatter now? We're gonna talk about what movies we watched recently?
Well, you asked me what I did last night, and that's what I did.
I don't know, I just assume you were drinking.
Okay, first of all, the listeners are going to get the really wrong impression of me. I do not drink every day. In fact, I haven't drank since Saturday. I uh just watched a movie with Charlie.
Well,
He's
why
really
don't
a
you
good guy to
tell
watch the movie
us
with.
what you watched with Charlie?
We watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh, so like at the beginning of the year when I said one of my goals is to watch the entire Yorgos Lanthimos filmography, and then I have made no progress on that, you're now lapping me?
I didn't do it on purpose. I was going through my watch list versus what was available streaming, and that one's on the home box office. So I guess yeah, I might be lapping you. Yeah, that's the answer. I might be lapping at this point.
Cool. I'm glad I've completed none of my goals.
Well, it's only April.
Yeah,
It's only
that's fine.
April.
My goals were kind of just a loose outline of things I might have wanted to do, and it's a fluid list. They change all the time.
Okay. Well, there's still time to catch up. If you want to get on my level,
I don't
no.
have like 8 hours a day to just watch like like Disney Channel movies from when I was a kid.
I can't believe that you're dogging me on this. Once again, I get my work done.
I was stating a fact. How was that dogging?
It was said in a negative way.
I think you're just assuming that I'm being negative because that's usually the case. But in this time, I was being completely neutral.
This is okay. Okay. Well, I was going to go positive. I think what I'm doing is positive. I'm moving this podcast along by watching more films.
But you're not even watching films for the podcast. I guess you're watching films for this intro section where we briefly talk about what we've watched. So I guess that could be
So
the
you
new
think that
podcast.
I should only be watching movies if they benefit the podcast?
I think you should only be watching movies if you've watched less than me for the year so that I can feel like I'm still ahead of you in some way.
You are. You're a movie man and not a movie boy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what else have you watched recently, Caitlin?
Uh, I mean, I guess you'd have to choose the day because I am watching so much. Today I did Blue Crush and Drive Me Crazy. Yesterday I did a little Muppet Treasure Island. Um, oh, I watched Heavyweights and Blank Check and Rookie of the Year.
It looks like you're up to 61 movies this year. You have made even more progress than whatever I said you were watching at last time. And
Yeah,
I
and I'm
am
not
at
even
44.
logging all of them. Some of them I
Wow.
didn't even log because I wasn't fully paying attention.
Okay, I'm glad you have some ethics when it comes to
I
Letterboxd.
do. Yeah, I do. And also, I don't think that movie Letters to Juliet is that good. Have you seen it?
Letters to Juliet? No. You're gonna have to tell me
Okay,
about
well,
that
it
one.
was on the front page of the home box office once again. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, it was just like it was just like a higher production of a Hallmark movie. It was just like one level above that. I would pass if I was a listener. So I didn't even log it because it didn't mean anything to me in the scheme of movie.
See, I would never skip a movie even if I didn't like it. It's
Really?
all a numbers game from. Well, I mean, I wouldn't skip logging it on Letterboxd. I still want a record of what I
Even if you didn't
watched.
pay attention that much though,
If
like
I
I
didn't pay
can't really
attention, yeah,
say.
that wouldn't count. Like, if I'm just like sitting on the couch and there's a movie playing in the background and I'm just digging around on my phone, I wouldn't count that. But
Yeah, that's
if
what I mean. Like I wasn't paying attention.
I guess we'll count that then. Well, so you watched a lot. Is there anything like stood out to you? Anything that you really liked?
Um Rental Family actually. Uh I really enjoyed that. I
So that
I
was a new watch for me too.
something in my eye. Yes, well, one because I love Brendan Fraser. Two, I love Japan. And three, it was just like it just felt nice. I mean, it wasn't like everything was perfect in the movie. That's not even what I'm saying, but it just felt nice to watch. It felt good. I don't know how to
Yeah,
explain it.
I don't
Did you
think I
get that
liked it as
feeling?
much as you, but I do think it was just kind. There's
It
not.
was kind.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind. It was a fairly
No,
low stakes movie. I don't know. Maybe some of the characters grow. I'm not really sure. Mm, But yeah, it was nice. It was just a pleasant watch.
pleasant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember at the beginning of last year and, we weren't even in the scheme of talking about things that were going to be nominated for Oscars, but I remember there just being like, oh, well, Rental Family, this is going to be a big one. I remember just being there's chatter around it. And then yeah, we didn't really see anything from it, and now you guys can just totally watch it online. There was another movie that we discussed that we thought was going to be a hot one, so it's kind of similar like that, but I can't remember because I have a bad
Yeah, I think
memory.
it did kind of just come and go without making. I don't know. It might have done okay at the box office. I don't know. I haven't looked up the numbers. I'm just speculating here. But
Probably
I
did
don't
well
know.
in
Lots of
Japan.
movies do that. Did it?
Maybe.
No. Should I look up the numbers real quick?
I mean, if you have the time and the space,
You
all I know
know,
is
I
that
spend so much of my week on Box Office Mojo. I don't even know why. Does what a movie makes really matter in the grand scheme of things? Not really, but
well,
I
it's not
checked.
like it's going into your pocket.
Well, it could. Um, it really didn't make. It made 10 million domestically and 16 million internationally. So made more overseas than it did here, but not a lot of money.
Well, Brendan Fraser is going to have a big year next year when we finally release the new Mummy, and we have to do a month of Mummy.
I've never seen any Mummy movies. Isn't there a new Mummy movie coming out this year that isn't with Brendan Fraser though?
No, not that I
I'm pretty
know of.
sure there is.
No, because they're
Um,
like wiping everything after like Mummy 3.
how many
Like
mummies
nothing
were there?
is canon. Nothing is canon anymore.
Yeah, so there's a movie coming out this year called Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I don't know if it has anything to do with the Brendan Fraser movies, but yeah, I don't know. But there is a movie coming called The Mummy coming out sometime in April 17th. It's this month. So, yeah, maybe we'll have to do a double feature, the Mario Galaxy movie and The Mummy.
Just can we do one after the other? We
Yeah,
got to run to the next theater.
we just have to do we really have to run? Like, we could pick a time that
Yeah,
we're
we have to
just
make it like a big deal. Like we have to make it like the most intense deal that
like we
anything's ever been. Like,
might run out of time because we're doing a double feature. Okay, I'm in.
yeah, I think it'll be fun. And then we just have enough time to refill our popcorn. Well,
All
what else
right,
did you
well,
watch?
what did
I
I
know you got something
watch?
on the list here that you want to talk about.
Okay, so I did go see one of my favorite films of all time, Jurassic Park, at the Redford Theater. The Redford Theater is an old movie theater here in Detroit. I want to say it's been continually operating since the 1920s, and it's one of just like the last remaining like movie palace kind of places in the Detroit city proper. Not a big megaplex, so just a one screen room. Yeah, have you ever seen a movie there?
I have. I saw Christmas Vacation?
Christmas Vacation, okay.
Question mark? I think that was what I saw there. I that is a lovely theater. It is so nostalgic in there. Were people respectful in your,
Eh,
or did you have some
there
issues?
there were people talking. There were a lot of parents bringing their kids to see Jurassic Park, and I think some people were just kind of getting antsy by the end of the movie. I mean, we've talked about the
Isn't
problems
it
with people
only like an
talking.
hour and a half?
No,
Like
it's
it's
just a
not
little
even
over
that
two
long.
hours.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
trying to
they're getting
find
antsy.
what year it opened. Oh, Redford Theater Facts. It
Why didn't you just
opened.
Google?
I'm on their website. Come on. It was built in 1927, so it's almost. I can't do math. 100 years old. Yeah.
Question mark. Well, that's fun. And you went with Katie, right?
Katie and Matt Turner and his wife.
Oh,
It was my first time seeing a movie there. I've been there before, but only for a concert, and they were projecting it on film. Haven't seen a movie on film in probably a long time.
was there any
Yeah,
dicks interspliced?
there were no dicks interspliced. I definitely remember what it. Yeah, when we had Ray on the show, he said he was not a format purist. After seeing a movie again in film, I don't think I am either, because I don't think actually seeing it on film really added anything to the experience that seeing it on digital.
Okay.
I mean, it's cool that that's how I would have seen the movie when I originally saw it in 1993, and there was some nostalgia to it. But I don't
Hmm.
know. I like physical media, but I guess not everything has to be physical. So it was cool. Yeah, as far as people being respectful, there was some talking, but like it wasn't. It didn't annoy me as much as maybe seeing a new movie. Like I don't know, I can like
Because you've
play the
already seen
movie.
it.
Yeah, and it wasn't like when we saw Scream in there. That was that guy that just having a conversation with himself the entire time. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't full blown conversations. It was a little annoying, but like mostly respectful, and overall just a
Okay.
really good experience. So. I would
All right.
recommend
Right
seeing
on.
a movie there, and I would like to go with you and John to see something there. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, we will take a look at what's playing. I
I will
don't want
tell
to
you,
tell. Go ahead.
in May, the movie Sorcerer is playing. If you wanted to see
My
something like
gosh, why
Sorcerer
am
on the
I being
big
haunted
screen,
by
and
Sorcerer?
then you could really become a film man.
It's on the home box office too to
It
stream.
is.
I thought about it last night before I chose Killing of a Sacred Deer. I'm like, nah, I don't need to be a film boy tonight.
Maybe you should save it so that we can see it together on the big screen.
Wow, I can't wait. Um, yeah, I am not in the habit of telling other people's stories, but I've been holding on to this one for 2 days. Friend of podcast, Caitlin, went to a movie the other night, and I'm sure she can elaborate on this if she ever so chooses, but she said she had the worst experience she's ever had in the theater, and she
So I
actually
saw
wrote it
that
in her
on her
review.
Letterboxd review, but I didn't get
Hmm.
any. I mean, I don't know her very well, so obviously
No,
you've
no, no,
got the deets. Spill them.
I immediately messaged her. She said that it was just like a fun house. I don't know, like people, there was a couple next to her, and the one guy got up, and then the girl just was like watching videos on her phone. Like, and then I guess the people behind her seemed like they might have been a little bit pissed, like the guy was sighing. But yeah, people were just having full blown conversations. It didn't seem like anybody was being respectful at all whatsoever. I said, well, did you go tell someone? Did you tell a manager or whatever? She's like, well, I'm gonna message them because they say that they do those walkthroughs, but she never saw anybody. And I've said before, I've never seen anybody either.
Was she at an
And
MJR?
was she at an NJR? I can't remember. I want to say yes. And I want to say that she went at a peak time. So yes, she did herself a disservice, but we should be able to go see films whenever we damn well please. Like, why is this happening? And she saw, what is it called? Forbidden Fruits.
That movie with Lily Reinhardt, I don't really know anything about
Yeah.
it. I didn't even know it existed,
So
but
I feel like it kind of leans more towards like that, like it reminds me of that Spring Breakers, that movie. So
okay.
I feel like the youths are going to be a little rowdy when they see it, but I don't know, man. Just like, please stop dropping your kids off. Please stop letting your kids go places and behave badly and then getting mad at people with no kids or people that want silence. Um, I'm sorry, I'm saying it. Like, treat or teach your kids to be respectful and they will be treated with respect back. And if I'm the one who has to parent your child, I'm not happy. And because I don't want to parent a child. And it sounded like it was youths, but also maybe some adults in this theater. Again, it's not my story to tell. But even like I saw this video today of this little kid screaming on an airplane and he starts bopping people with an empty water bottle and the parents were asleep and no one did anything. And it's just like if they can't behave, stop bringing them places.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's hard out there for parents too, but I don't know. You do have to exist in public if you're going to go into public places and be respectful. I forgot to mention this, but one of my coworkers had mentioned seeing Project Hail Mary, and we were just talking about theater experiences and stuff. And I asked her if it's a frequent occurrence for her that she just gets terrible crowds, and she said yes, absolutely. And she just gets up and snitches every time, like just immediately. She goes and tells the management because it's just not worth it. So I don't
Okay.
really know. We've talked about this so much. I'm not sure if there's a solution beyond that. I wouldn't mind, filming a short video like this and like, a clip and just putting MJR on blast and tagging them on social media because they don't have people walk through the theaters and at the end of the day it shouldn't be our job to make sure that we have a safe movie going environment. It should be the people that run the theaters and they clearly don't do shit.
Mhm.
So sorry,
Yep.
Caitlin Renner, that you had a bad experience. Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. I agree with you on all fronts. Um, I just started coming up with so many little like things in my head that we could do video wise that would be funny and put it up. So I got some ideas already because
Okay.
MJR, we're coming for you. We are coming for you.
Maybe Imagine too. We don't need to single out MJR, even though that's where we tend to go most
All
often. But
theaters, we are coming for you.
did you have any? So I've watched a bunch of other movies, but they were all related to this podcast in some way, shape, or form, other than Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway.
Featuring Anne
Yeah,
Hathaway or
no, Hathaway Noah is the main character. So I saw that there is the sequel to that movie is coming out in May. So I was like, oh, I will watch this Mobile Suit Gundam movie. The some Paul and Caitlin lore, the first show we ever watched for our anime club, which eventually spawned this podcast, was Gundam Witch from Mercury.
hmm.
And that is really the only experience with Gundam that I have, even though I'm wearing this Gundam shirt. But I really enjoyed that show. The one thing I will say about the movie is that it takes place in like the main Gundam timeline, and I think it's referencing a lot of Gundam stuff that was over my head. But the animation was really beautiful, and it was just fun to watch. So I'm glad I did. As we said in the intro, this is animation month, and watching animated stuff has just really made me want to get into more anime because I really like anime. I used to have an anime club with my friend Caitlin. So
You might have
that's the
heard of her.
other non-podcast related movie that I watched.
She's so cool. She loves anime. Back in the day, we used to get made fun of for it, but now look at us. Now we
It's
have a
true. Now it's
podcast.
cool. Well,
Now it's so cool.
honestly, if we just
Ish.
pivoted to an anime podcast, we might get more listeners. Probably alienate like Matt Turner,
I could
but
just tag anime and see stuff.
you tag
Just start
anime and we're
lying.
just watching Marty Supreme.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I tagged Ryan Gosling and say less. Well, that's fun. That's fun. I like that. I like that you wore your merch for that. I wore my BTS merch. Sold out everywhere, and I was able to get one. So let's go.
Cool. I got a new hat.
We remember. Um,
Yeah, movies.
okay.
Anything else movie wise or
No,
we
no,
can
I wanted
go?
to talk a little bit about animation with you. I know that in our previous episode you don't watch a lot of animated things. Uh No, yeah. So this will all be brand new to you, but my question was because I was a big animated fan as a youth, having cable. Did you watch any cartoons when you were a kid?
Yeah, when I was a kid, for sure. I think
What did you like?
all the big Nickelodeon stuff, Rugrats, Doug,
Mm-hmm.
Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, those weren't well, Tiny Toons maybe was Nickelodeon, but
Yeah,
that stuff. I mean, obviously, Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z were big parts of my childhood. Um, those might be the biggest one. Rescue Rangers, obviously. I've still got a thing for Gadget. Uh,
yeah.
and DuckTales, yeah. Those are
DuckTales.
the big ones that I remember. I mean, I was definitely an animation fan as a kid, as lots of people tend to be. It just,
So you just lost the
yeah, I
luster
did.
as you got older.
And I was trying to think, like, so when I was in college, I did watch the, like, Adult Swim stuff when that premiered, like your Aqua Teens and Space Ghost and all the, like, initial slate of Adult Swim. I watched BoJack Horseman, though I never actually finished that show. As far as, like, animated stuff I've watched as an adult, other than anime, which I wish I had more time to watch even more of. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's just more like, it's adult storytelling, or sometimes it's more adult storytelling, even like the kiddie stuff. Like, I don't know, Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
is still a league apart from Rugrats, but it's just where I am.
Fucking
So,
loved Rugrats.
yeah. Who was your favorite Rugrat?
Angelica.
Of course, that
Does
tracks.
that check out? My mom
Yeah,
used to call me Angelica, which I
I
was
can
like,
see
oh, it's
that.
so endearing. Oh my gosh, I have a fun. Hold on.
Oh, nice.
Same?
Yeah, I can see it. Because she was
Yeah.
kind of a bitch.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong. I didn't get the nickname because I was not a brat. Like I was definitely a brat. Um I loved Rugrats, um Cat Dog, Powerpuff Girls, Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. What else was happening? Doug. And even when Doug moved to like one Saturday morning,
I didn't
uh
think it was as good when it moved to ABC. I really only liked the Nickelodeon episodes. I
well,
also
I
might have just been aging
watched.
out of Doug at that point.
Yeah, I think you might have been. And I was lucky enough because my sister is younger that I got a second dose of kind of like all the cartoons. Like as you were already moving into like a little more adult content, she was sitting next to me. So what was I supposed to watch? Um, so I've seen maybe 2 or 3 episodes of that show SpongeBob. Maybe you've heard of it.
I've never seen a single episode of that show.
Yeah, probably like 3 episodes out of the 10,000 fucking episodes.
Yeah, how many? Because they still make new episodes of that show,
No,
don't
they
they?
still make new episodes. He's not done. And then he has 3 movies. What's the
I
answer?
googled as of late 2025, SpongeBob has aired 300 episodes, 330
That feels
episodes.
that feels under.
But they're all so like each episode is 2 11-minute segments, so it's closer to 600 if you count each segment as an individual. So I don't know. Good for you, SpongeBob. Not trying to trash anyone that likes SpongeBob or anything. It's just I was too old and never went back
Yeah. Yeah.
and don't
And I
care.
don't think it's funny. Is that bad?
I mean, you've
I
seen three
also
episodes. Like maybe you need to give it more of a chance.
I'm busy. I'm busy. Um I was not allowed to watch, however, I was not allowed to watch South Park. My mom had very few rules, and for some reason she was just like, I don't want you watching that South Park. So I never watched that one.
Same thing happened to me. I did watch South Park, and then my parents heard it, and it was my dad, weirdly enough, who was like, "You can't watch that show anymore." And I was like, "What?
Why?
Like, you guys talk worse than this. I go to public school. What do you think? What do you think is happening?" And I
Yeah.
remember they were like, "Well, if public school's so bad, we're gonna send you to a Christian school." And that's when I gave up my fight to not watch
Yeah,
South
you're
Park
like,
anymore.
actually, South Park is good. I'm done.
But I should have called their bluff because I didn't realize that they would have to pay to send me to a Christian school, and they never would have done that. And you want to know the stupidest? Like, so I remember the year that my parents stopped me from watching South Park. My mom then bought me a South Park T-shirt for Christmas because she's like, "Oh, you can't," but I know you like it. And I was like, "I'm like, everyone makes fun of me because you won't let me watch this, and you want me to wear a T-shirt to school with this show that you banned me from watching." So
Yeah.
thanks, mom.
What am I going to do when they ask me what happened to Kenny this week? What am I going to
Yeah.
say? Dead.
Well, I'm glad we both had that childhood trauma in common.
That's so random of us. I don't know why. Yeah.
Because also it
Carol, it's
just didn't
okay.
have
I'm not
many
mad.
rules.
Yeah, I was like, she doesn't say I can't do a lot of stuff. So I'll just like not do that one.
I was
And I
pretty
never
mad.
really watched You were bad?
No, I was pretty mad
Is that
about
what
it.
you
I
said?
wasn't ba
Oh,
I
you
was
were
a good
mad.
kid, like, I wasn't gonna pick up swearing from South Park, like, I just thought it was funny because, it probably was when I was in 7th grade.
Oh, I started swearing in 5th grade. Sorry, Mom. Not because of South Park.
Yeah, so Carol, you should have just let her watch South Park. She was already a terrible
Yeah.
kid.
I wasn't going to become more bratty. If anything, I would hone my brattiness. That's really what it was about. I would hone my brattiness. I'm trying to think what else. Uh, I never watched a lot of The Simpsons, but I did play The Simpsons Hit and Run, and so I think I know the show pretty well, just through that. That game
Okay,
is
so
fucking
yeah, I did
good.
watch The Simpsons pretty religiously. That
Yeah.
was so my mom also didn't like us to watch The Simpsons, and this was when we were much so early 90s, and I just remember my mom had bowling on Thursday nights back when The Simpsons used to be on Thursdays, and for whatever reason, my dad didn't care if we watched The Simpsons, so we loved it when my mom's like bowling season was in. So she'd be gone,
Yeah.
and with my dad, we would watch The Cosby Show and The Simpsons. Great Thursday night
Double
back-to-back
feature.
programming.
Double
Yeah,
feature.
so
Love that.
yeah, just great memories.
Yeah, and now, I mean, we're still watching some cartoons, Bob's Burgers. Oh, we love Bob in this house. I think that a lot of people love the Bob, and people really like American Dad, or like what's the other guy, the other dad, uh, Peter Griffin. What's that show?
Family
It
Guy?
seems today, yeah, Family. I was gonna sing the theme song before I knew what the show was called.
That was a
Thank you for
show that I thought
stopping me.
was really funny when it premiered, but I was also, I think, in like 8th grade, so the Family Guy style of humor just doesn't really appeal to me, and I
Yeah,
haven't really watched enough American Dad to have an opinion on that.
yeah. Humor changes over time, and I used to be way funnier, and now I'm not funny anymore. So
Yeah,
whatever that's about, I have to deal with
I've
that. So
literally never once laughed at a thing you say.
yeah,
Not a single
yeah.
time.
Well, anyway, guys, now that we've decided that I'm not funny, I'm going to continue to do a show where I'm going to attempt to be funny. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about before we
I think that concludes my
sashay?
animated journey through my childhood and teenage years and a little bit into my current years. I don't know.
I hope that our journey through this month helps you open up in ways that you have not lately.
Weird sentence.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what movie did we watch this week?
We watched The Iron Giant from the year 1999. I want to give a quick shout out to my friends Tom. Tom, of course, being the husband of previous guest Melissa, and my friend Kyle, who have been trying to get me to watch this movie for like 20 years now. So,
Wow,
mission
really?
accomplished, guys. Yes. They both love this movie. I think Kyle even bought me a copy of the DVD for my birthday, like in high school or something, and I
He's
just never
serious,
watched it.
serious.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I've seen it now, guys. Yeah,
Did it finally. Did you use your copy?
I don't have that anymore.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
Kyle. I sold all my DVDs and CDs several years ago, and um your birthday present did go to fund like an OBX vacation. I don't know, man. Okay, so the cast of the movie. Should I go over that?
Yeah, why don't we move on from here? Whatever
The
you did.
main character, our lead Hogarth Hughes, is voiced by Eli Marienthal. The Iron Giant is voiced by none other than Vin Diesel. Hogarth's mom, Annie Hughes, is voiced by Caitlin's favorite friend, Jennifer Aniston.
That's fair.
Then Dean McCoppin, the beatnik artist at the junkyard. That is Caitlin's favorite Deborah Messing boyfriend from Will and Grace, Harry Connick Jr. I don't know. I'm really going for some must-see TV. It's Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
And then the villain of the film, Kent Mansley, is voiced by Christopher McDonald, who you might also know as Shooter McGavin.
Yes.
Shooter
My
McGavin.
favorite of all the McGavins.
And then General Shannon Rogard is voiced by the one and only my beloved John Mahoney. So that is the voiced cast of the movie The Iron Giant.
Okay. Well, for those that haven't watched The Iron Giant, like Paul, as of what, 5 days ago, I'll let you guys in on what the plot is. You've had since 1999, so honestly, just give it up at this point. This movie's set during the Cold War in a small town in Maine. A massive metal robot from outer space crashes to Earth near the small town. It's discovered by a 9-year-old boy named Hogarth Hughes, who quickly realizes the robot isn't dangerous and he's actually quite gentle and childlike, and he's really just trying to understand the world. As Hogarth spends time with the giant, he teaches him about life, morality, and humanity, especially through things like comic books. The giant learns the idea that you can choose who you want to be, even if you were built for something else. Meanwhile, the giant has a hidden defense mechanism. Whenever he feels threatened, he instinctively turns into a destructive weapon. The giant also likes to eat metal, so he's not very discreet in the beginning, and he eats people's cars and other metal equipment, raising suspicions around their town. A paranoid government agent named Kent Mansley then becomes convinced that the giant is a threat. As fear spreads, the military gets involved, determined to destroy the robot before it can do any harm. Things spiral out of control when the military attacks the giant. In the chaos, the giant's weapon system is activated, and he nearly becomes the destructive force that everyone feared. When a nuclear missile is launched toward the town, the giant makes a choice. He flies up to intercept it, and he sacrifices himself to save everyone. The giant is destroyed in the explosion, and the town mourns him as a hero. But in the final moments, scattered pieces of the giant begin to move and slowly reassemble, hinting that he may not be totally gone after all.
And we will be spoiling in the movie The Iron Giant.
I just did!
Mm.
He's
Uh,
in chunks in Antarctica. Or Iceland? I can't remember what it was.
I think it was Antarctica.
Anyway, he's chunked, and that's the Iron Giant. So, where do you want to head?
Wherever you want to head.
How
Yeah,
about some themes? Because I just scrolled there, and that's where it is.
yeah, it tends to be at the top of our outline.
Sure does.
Well, what did you think of the themes of The Iron Giant?
My first theme, like I said in my plot overview, is just choosing your own path. Because the giant, like I said, is huge and full of tons of
I
insane
didn't even hear
weaponry.
anything.
So it would be really easy for him to just be like a destroyer, right? That's what he was obviously built for without knowing really any of his background. But he decides that he can be like a Superman and save people instead and use his giantness for good instead of the evil that he's created for. So it's really about choosing your own path.
I said you get to choose what you want to be. And then I kept debating whether or not I actually think that's a good message or not.
As well, what would be the opposite? Like not
Well,
choosing who you are or want to be?
I think just saying you get to choose what you want to be is ignoring the circumstances which lead to what you want to be. Like, I can't just choose that to be a Detroit Tiger. I don't have the skill or whatever. Like, I don't know. So, to a degree, I think since this is a kids' movie, it is a nice message to teach. And I think Hogarth specifically says you don't have to be a gun. So, I do think there's a nice,
Mm-hmm.
like, non-violent message. But I do think, in the real world, there are so many other factors that contribute to what you get to be, like socioeconomic status or just where you were born or how you were born. Like, your body type could prevent you from doing certain things. You could be discriminated against because of, all sorts of reasons. So there are lots of just, I guess it's just a simple message to say to kids, but that it's not entirely true. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay, but there's a difference between I want to be a Detroit Tiger and I want to be a good person,
Yeah, no, I agree with
because
that. So,
you
like,
can easily be a good person or a piece of shit. And
but I don't think it necessarily is saying you get to choose like, I don't know. I don't think it's saying I don't think that's what it's trying to say, that it's just about being a good person. Though I think that is in there. I think it's part of it, and I think that part of
okay.
the message is nice. And I think
Well, I think
specifically you don't have to be a gun is a good message too.
yeah, that's true. And especially with this film having kind of some darker themes, he is a weapon, the military. Like there's not a lot of kids movies where it's like, "Hey, here's the full-blown military. We're about to blow off a missile. Here's us, low-key creating panic over someone who doesn't look like us, someone who isn't us, who isn't human, whatever." there's a lot of really darkness in this movie. So maybe just saying that you can choose to be the light is a fine message in this case.
Yeah, and I don't think that's bad. I don't think choosing to help people instead of choosing to harm people, I think that's in there, and I think that's a good message. Obviously, I'm pro that. Yeah, and
So
just
would so what then I wrote also, are can people truly change who they are? Are we defined by by nature or our decisions? How deep is that?
I think people have been trying to answer the nature versus nurture question for a long time,
And
and we
we're about to
haven't.
solve it.
We're about to solve it on this podcast. You're right.
Strap in
So
after
the
the commercial
answer
break.
is, oh yeah, and Spotify actually just like cut to a commercial mid sentence.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
so
sorry, listeners, and it's super loud.
and we did solve nature versus nurture, but unfortunately it was cut off by the
It
commercial.
was cut. I'm
So
so sorry.
I don't know. Maybe next time we'll come back to it, but we certainly can't do that
Yeah,
now because we're pressed for time.
we really are. Uh, I also wrote then because of the setting of the Cold War, the town is on high alert. Bringing the military in over honestly what could be a huge nothing. So there's a lot of paranoia and aggression with this. So I guess that could be a theme, like paranoia.
No, I have that too, just like the paranoid Cold War attitude. I said, that quote, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Like they go
Whoa.
into it expecting to, we talked about this with Project Hail Mary, like in a lot of movies like this. So many, when people encounter things they don't understand, they have a real shoot first, ask questions later attitude, which certainly
Hmm.
is the case here with, um, what's his face? Shooter McGavin specifically.
Kyle Mansley.
Wait. You haven't seen Happy Gilmore. That's a thing about you that I know, right? You've never seen that movie? So when I say
No.
Shooter McGavin, you don't actually
No,
know
but I
what I'm
know who
talking.
he is. There's a lot of
Okay.
things I know that I haven't seen.
Okay.
I know who he is.
I
Yeah,
just I
I know
didn't
who.
know if that was going over your head.
No,
Okay.
I got it. I mean, I don't know his character exactly. I feel like he's probably just another golf friend. Does that.
Yeah. So
So
I
who
agree
do
with
you
you on that.
who do you think then was the villain here? Was it the giant or fear itself?
Well, I don't think it was the giant. I don't think at any point you expect or you never think the
I'm
giant's the
coming.
villain.
Maybe I'm coming from the side of the military at this point. the
I wouldn't put
the
it past you. You and your good friend JD Vance.
Oh my God, Paul
What, you said we were allowed to say that on this podcast.
didn't. It's not true. Please, listeners, please. I'm the last person.
You
Oh my
just
gosh,
said you
Paul.
were
People.
siding with the military. Huh? You guys heard
No,
it
I
first. You
said,
heard it
what if I'm
first.
coming from the side of. Ugh, I quit the
Okay.
podcast.
Who is the real villain? I think the real villain is just kind of the attitude that were fostered during the Cold War period, where I don't know, like the nationalism and like the fear and the like one-upmanship we had with the Soviet Union, and I think it's the same villains that we have now, these like assholes that are in charge
Mm-hmm.
that are just like competing with each other to see who has the biggest dick, and like they just
Yeah.
all they end up doing is harming the little guys. So maybe we need an iron giant in our corner to defend us from the real shitheads in charge.
Yeah.
I don't know,
We
politics
definitely
guys.
need one. We said we wouldn't do it, but here we are again.
So okay, I think it's
Do you have any
very
more?
funny when we like just have synchronicity between things that we have watched lately, because I think much like Project Hail Mary, super good bro movie. This is about a guy and like an
Two
alien of
bros.
some sort that
Friendship.
develop a friendship. They don't know how to speak to each other at first. They teach each other language, and yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
just really thought that was funny. Two movies. That's not the first time that's happened with this podcast either, where like two movies just really that we've watched back to back have kind of spoken to
Yeah.
each other like that. So I thought, yeah, cool bro movie for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why my
That's
friends
good that you
Kyle
mentioned that.
and Tom like it so much, because I'm such a good bro to them.
Well, you are the best friend of the internet.
That's true. Good callback.
Yeah. I know. Thank you. If you listened to the beginning of the podcast and didn't just jump in the middle, I did write Friendship. It's a story about friendship between a robot and a 9-year-old kid. They're different in pretty much every aspect of the word, but they're also both learning. Like, Hogarth is still learning. He's just a kid. So just mostly like kind of teaching the robot things that he knows. And he's just like, well, there's just kindness. There's just the books that I read. There's just my mom and this cool guy that works at the metal
So I guess I
place.
didn't really get why Hogarth himself didn't really seem to have friends, why everybody thought he was kind of a weird nerd, because
Yeah, there
seems
wasn't
like a
anything
pretty
super
typical
weird
kid,
about
but
him.
yeah.
He didn't have like snot. He wasn't like sweaty.
He liked comic books and stuff, but during that time period, I don't think that was even that weird or nerdy, so
Yeah, like what
but
else
yeah,
would he
Hogarth
be
doesn't have a friend,
doing?
so I think, yeah, just kind of both of these characters learning friendship, together. So friends.
The
Like,
other
look,
one that I had was that's similar to a lot of the movies that we've seen, and the one that's coming to my mind is Miracle on 34th Street. Child innocence versus adult cynicism.
no, yeah.
Nobody believes him about, well, no, because he doesn't tell anybody. He only tells Dean about the giant. But also, even when the military does come in and they are convinced that he is there and that he's real, they're automatically afraid of him.
Mhm.
And so, where is that childlike sense of wonder to talk to the robot that you found in the middle of the woods? Like, where did
Yeah.
that go in everybody?
Well, and
The
it's,
only one
it's
that
the
actually
military coming in.
seems, yeah,
If it had been
fucking,
scientists or something, like, they might have had more, but
they might have
like
a
I
different
said, when all you
story.
have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, so
Yeah. And I thought that it was interesting that the only real adult that listened to him was Dean. Um, and I kind of I wanted to talk about Dean as a character whenever we wanted to do that, but I think that is he a different character to the other adults in it because he is a little artsy fartsy, because he is, they call it, the beatnik, and he's working like a metal worker and he lives at the, why do I want to say pound? Why do I keep wanting to say he lives at a pound? What's that place called? The metal
junkyard?
pound? The junkyard?
Scrapyard?
Scrapyard. So is that why he is so like somebody that Hogarth can talk to? Because he's kind of just off the beaten path?
Well, he's an artist, so I guess maybe he hasn't lost that childlike sense of wonder that we're talking about. He probably is a little bit more connected to, yeah, I don't know,
Youth?
youth and innocence and imagination.
Yeah, because he needs imagination to look at the metal and fashion it into something that people would consider art. And then really the only person that compliments him on his art is Hogarth's mom. They fall in love.
Yeah, real deep love scenes. Okay, I did think it was kind of weird though that when she compliments him and she's like, "Oh yeah, no wonder Hogarth likes spending so much time here." Like, I don't know, you're a single mom and you don't think it's weird that your son's hanging out at the junkyard with another, like, a single adult man? Isn't that a little bit creepy? Like, I don't
I
know. I
mean, the
guess things were
60s were
different in the
different.
'60s.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing, like, I used to come home from school, do my homework, and ride my bike to my friend's house, and I didn't come back until it was dark out.
Yeah, but was
I
your
don't think
friend
parents
like
do that
a
now.
30-year-old man?
Yeah, so they were actually rebuilding my subdivision, and there was a bunch of holes where like basements were gonna go, and I did used to hang out with an older gentleman down. No, Paul.
We need to clip that.
Although my subdivision was under construction, that part's true. But I met my friends in the hole, and then we would go back up for dinner. So
Was one
those
a
holes were
clown named
dope.
Pennywise?
Jeez, oh pizzas, no. Oh my gosh, back it up. And then there was also just, I think, maybe a subtle anti-war message somewhere in there. Like, hey guys, let's not actually bomb everything. Let's not fight.
Yeah, and it's a
Fuck
good
the
thing
war.
that so many people saw this movie in 1999 and took that message to
And
heart.
really held that.
Yeah,
Really held on to that. Maybe some people need to be watching The Iron Giant.
it can heal the country. Speaking of the Iron Giant, we did jump into themes, but we didn't talk about the director. I know Brad
Okay.
Bird is a director that is meaningful to you, right?
So, yeah, I didn't know that he was meaningful to me until I looked it up, but he did direct my favorite movie, Ratatouille, and then also The Incredibles. I almost said it wrong because sometimes I say Incredibles, and so sometimes I almost said it just right there,
Oh
Incredibles.
yeah, so I have never seen The Incredibles, nor have I seen Ratatouille. Ratatouille is the one about the little
Oh,
fish that needs to find his mom, right?
it's a fish that needs to find his dad, yes, and they're
That's
all
Ratatouille.
superheroes. Yep.
You know,
Hmm.
Katie is currently watching, what's that one movie? A Star Is Born, and she's watching it so loud, and I can just hear Shallow like blaring from downstairs right now. So I
Well,
think
she's
this
doing
is
Crying Caitlyn's.
Katie's last movie for her bingo card. So just a random bingo update in the middle of this
I've
episode.
been done with mine for like 2 weeks now.
I also finished mine. I had this in my notes and just skipped over it, so I'm glad we're just gonna hit it right in the middle of our episode.
Just
I
right
finished
smack in the
mine
middle.
the other day. Katie's finishing hers currently, so I guess this can be the time of the episode where we publicly shame Matt Turner for not having his done yet. As of recording, maybe by the time this comes out, he will have it done, and we'll have our first ever bingo episode for you guys. But
Shame.
shame
Shame.
on you, Matthew. Shame
Shame.
on you. And yeah, listeners, if any of you are playing bingo at home, be sure to tag us in your card.
Yeah.
Now back to
Post it
movie
and tag it.
content.
And back to our original content.
Yeah, so Brad Bird, I
Also,
have seen his Mission Impossible movie.
I did see that one. Yep.
Yeah, they all blend together to me, but this is the first one after the J.J. Abrams one. The J.J. Abrams one being a movie that I thought was pretty good, but I remember thinking this one's better, maybe. So I like this. And yeah, I think Brad Bird's coming back with The Incredibles 3, right? Oh, and I think he has another animated film coming out on Netflix this year, I think. So some more Brad Bird in
You're
our
doing better
future.
than me.
Yeah.
I immediately upon, because I did see this movie probably maybe 1999 when it came out, and I haven't seen it since, but immediately turning it on, I thought, oh, did the guys who did Eight Crazy Nights make this? And so I double checked, they did not. Have you ever seen Eight Crazy Nights, the Adam Sandler Hanukkah movie?
I have not seen that, no.
It's not great. It's just, it's just a movie. Like, I wouldn't say it's the best representation of Hanukkah. Like, obviously that's the Rugrats Hanukkah episode.
Yeah.
But I thought the style of animation was similar. And I think that because we are in animation right now, maybe we could adjust our outline a little bit to discuss the animation portion because now it's something new that
That's a
we
good
have to
idea. I
discuss.
had it under miscellaneous thoughts. I was going to ask you what you thought of the animation style, but you got to it
I
before I
thought
could
it
even get
was
there. So,
I thought it was Eight Crazy Nights. And it was also
yeah.
nice to see art. It wasn't, and not to, and this is not a knock to like Pixar. I love Pixar movies. But that specific way of drawing is gone. Like nobody really does it anymore.
Hand-drawn movies
Um,
like that, yeah. I mean, I think
yeah. And if they
anime is
do,
probably
they're
the
not,
closest a lot of the time, right? I mean,
yeah.
you're still getting
Mm-hmm.
the Ghibli movies are all hand-drawn stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure plenty
But
of
I
TV
mean,
shows. And
they're not as, I hate to dog them, but they're honestly not very as mainstream. They're not the ones that everybody's going out to see, like the Mario movie. I mean, I'm not hearing great things about it. I'm still gonna watch it. But it's like stuff like that is shot into the stratosphere. Everybody wants to see it. All the kids are like, "Oh my gosh, it's so colorful. It's fast moving and all this other stuff." It's like this is different. This is a different way
yeah,
of getting animation.
yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
I am right. Thank you. I did it. I got one. What do they call that style of like Pixar where everything's kind of
Just like
bubbly and really
or
bright?
3D animated, like
Computer generated?
yeah. So it's all. I mean, it's
It's not to
not.
dog them. It's still
Yeah,
art. It's
not that
just
those, and they're animating it too, but they're using computers and it's not hand drawn stuff.
yeah.
It's 3D, it's
I
not
like
2D.
this. This feels nostalgic. This feels like I watched it in my living room and my mom got the big bucket that's also for barf and filled it with popcorn. And, we all sat around and watched it and nobody was on a phone. Nobody got up and left. Like nobody was talking and we just enjoyed movies.
Well, you didn't have phones, but
My mom
sure.
did. It
Your
just
mom
didn't
had
have
a
the
cell
internet.
phone in 1999.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I don't really remember when or if my parents. Well, okay, I know if they did eventually get cell phones.
My mom still doesn't have a cell phone. I don't know where she is.
Carol.
Do you want to
Okay.
move to
Just move
cast?
to something, yeah, sure.
Let's get out of here.
I don't really have too many thoughts about the cast. I thought everyone did a really good job voice performance wise. Obviously
I'll
they're
agree.
all big stars. They're not professional voice actors, but I didn't think anyone was egregious. No one like stood out as bad voice acting to me. They all
Yeah.
kind of just sound like themselves. There's something. So I did think I can't Christopher McDonald. I thought just I especially because I know him as Shooter McGavin, and Shooter McGavin is such a dick. Like it was just he did a good job being just kind of an ass. Like just hearing
Uh,
his voice just makes me think of asshole, and maybe that's just because I have such an association with him playing an important villain in a childhood movie for me. So I just yeah
well, then they kind of animated him to look like him, like his face
yeah a
shape
little bit
kind of it felt like him because I know what he looks like, so that
yeah.
kind of felt like him.
And I mean, it's a small part, but I do have John Mahoney as Goat, because I love John Mahoney. Rip.
I didn't know that about you, but I'm learning
You
new
didn't
things every
know
week.
Frasier, like just a running gag for like the first 10 episodes of our show. You didn't know that
Well,
I love the actor that played Frasier's dad.
I haven't watched. I've probably watched a few Frasier in my life, but I have not watched it as an adult, so I can't really speak to it.
Can you please just instead of watching movies at work, can you just throw on Frasier one day? Like you're really missing out.
But why should I do that? What are you going to throw on? You said I'm not watching Ratatouille, blah, blah, blah. Like, why should I watch Frasier if you're not going to do something for me in return? This is a give and take relationship. And it
No,
seems
it's
like I'm
not. You're
only
just
giving.
no. I'm giving you Frasier. You're taking
The
Frasier from
true
me.
gift here, the real true gift is Frasier. You're right. Frasier heads unite. We
Anyway,
need
what
some
did you think
Frasier
about the
merch.
cast?
Well, first I wrote Jennifer Aniston, and I think my notes on her specific portrayal kind of went off the rails because I started just talking about the mom in general. And I feel like there
That's
wasn't a
fine.
lot to her. She was
We can talk
just
about plot or
there.
plot. We can talk about actor, cast, and character in the same thing if that's what you would like to
Thank you
do.
for the permission.
You're
Um,
welcome.
but I think it is so fun to me. It is fun to me thinking that she was at the height of her, career with Friends, and she's like, I'm going to voice a mother in a cartoon. That seems right. And but it's just Jennifer Aniston. Like you said, no one's doing anything remarkable with their voices. They're honestly just talking into the microphone.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing, any fun accents or whatever. She did fine work. Just a very natural performance. I feel like when she was with Hogarth, which is such a dope fucking name. Like they made fun of him, but that's like that he feels like he grew up and played like a saxophone. Doesn't that feel like it's Hogarth Hughes and he's like
You think he became a jazz musician?
yeah, I feel like he became a
Or did
jazz
he join a
musician.
ska band?
Do you think they call him Hoagie? Like, do you think his friends call him like Hoagie?
I hope so. That's what I really
I
want
really
from this
do.
movie.
Okay, speaking of him, no notes on him. I think he had a very, nice portrayal of a child since he was literally just a child. He just, again, talked into the microphone and that was the performance. And I think, uh, it wasn't overly cartoony or anything like that. He just was a kid.
Yeah. It reminds me of, like on Hey Arnold, how they always had to change Arnold's voice because they just insisted on using an actual kid that age. And the voice actors would quickly age out of it. They'd go through puberty and they wouldn't
Yeah.
sound like Arnold. But yeah, using an actual kid to play
Hey
Arnold
Arnold
was
is a
really.
dope show.
Hey Arnold was a dope
We
show.
didn't
I
say
loved
Hey
it.
Arnold. That was a dope fucking show.
Did you watch the
Uh,
movie when it came out just a few years ago, I think? And they finally wrapped up the
no.
series? Oh.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No, because you know what? I want to do all of it. I want to
you
do it
want to
all
watch it?
again.
Okay. Well, I would recommend
Yeah.
watching the movie, honestly. And that is an animated thing that I watched as an adult and enjoyed. Yeah, Jen Aniston. This was, yeah, 99. So this was the same year as Office Space.
She was doing a
So this
lot.
was probably, the height of Friends, but I don't think she'd been in like, her film career hadn't really taken off. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
sometimes
if
it is
her film
hard
career still
for
has,
television
but.
stars to transcend movies.
Mhm.
And would I say that Jennifer Aniston is a movie star? No.
She's a star, but
She's a star, but
I don't
there
know
is a
what's her
difference
best
between
movie. I'm going through Jennifer Aniston's filmography. I mean, Office Space. Well, no, she's good in We're the Millers. That was a fun comedy
yeah,
that she's
that one
on.
was funny. The one or what's that one with Vince Vaughn?
I have never
Switching?
seen that one.
That
Horrible
one isn't
Bosses. That one was pretty
Horrible
funny.
Bosses. That was what I was going to say next. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just not a
I
lot of
mean,
big movies.
nothing
Lots
out of
of
the
movies for
park.
Jen. Well, it's a bunch of random Adam Sandler shit. Um. Yeah. I don't know. I have nothing bad to say about Jen.
What about my guy Harry Connick Jr.?
So weird. Just I don't know.
I like Harry Connick Jr.
It's just something about hearing his voice. I never watched Will and Grace, but somehow it just reminds me of Will and Grace, and like it just takes me to that specific period of time when like Will and Grace was a TV show that people didn't think was ridiculous, and just yeah, hearing him, I
Water
don't.
cooler show.
Sure, I just I could almost just not take the character seriously. I don't. I'm sorry, Harry
Really? I
Connick
feel like
Jr.
he
Yeah.
plays the saxophone too. I feel like
Well, he's beating it. You know, he's playing a bongo or something.
yeah. Oh yeah. He was one step away from Matthew McConaughey no pants bongo.
Yeah.
Not when Hogarth was there though.
He wasn't bad in the part. There's something about his voice specifically that I can't just not picture him in like kind of an oversized suit, and I don't know if he ever wore an oversized suit, but in my mind he does. Just real
You feel
like
like he's like a Zoot Suit, like
yeah,
Zoot Suit
kind
Riot
of.
kind of guy.
Yeah.
I I just wrote he's a multi-talented guy. I think he was great. He's got that smooth, laid-back performance. And he was probably one of my favorite of the main kind of cast there. I
I like
liked
the
him.
character a lot if we're talking about the character like
Yeah.
I mean I think it kind of
I
goes
don't care
without
about
saying
Harry
that
Connick Jr. to
sure.
you.
That Hogarth doesn't really have friends or a father figure in his life, and he finds both here through
Both,
his
yeah.
friendship with the Iron Giant and with his friendship with the character of Dean, played by Harry Connick Jr. So
He
it
said, he
the
really said, "Will you be my papa?
yeah he not in so many words, but kind of he does, doesn't he?
Are you my new
So
dad?"
it was sweet.
Yeah, you're chuckling a lot for me not being funny, so
Yeah, I know.
I just want to
Um,
point that out. And then I
so
think the only other one would be Vin Diesel.
yeah, which I don't think anyone knew who he was in '99, did we?
I don't think so. I thought about that too. I'm like, we already knew that he had it, like 3-word performances in him, and I think that's so telling of who he is as an actor. This man has made millions of dollars, and he says, "I am Groot," and then like the 6 lines that he said during this movie, I'm hero, I'm Superman, whatever, and
Mhm.
not a gun, made tons of money, and then whatever he does in the Fast and the Furious, because honestly, I gave up after the second one. Um,
The most important thing is family, I think, or
yeah, I
some
think that's
iteration of that.
it's
It's all
it's
about
you never
family.
give up on family. No, you love your family, whatever. Might as well be the mafia. Uh, but yeah, great performance with not much that he had to do, and just mostly communicating through the tone in his voice, um, and simple words.
And he's good at it. I mean, he does a great job as Groot as well. So good on you, Vin Diesel. I did pull up his filmography real quick, and the only thing he's got a couple like random things that I think are just small parts before this, but he was in Saving Private Ryan, and I honestly forgot he was even in Saving Private Ryan.
Whoa,
And then yeah, after
surprise!
that's the Iron Giant, so pretty big voice role. And then just 2 years later was when the Fast and the Furious comes out. So
I wonder if it's his deep voice.
maybe his voice is
You
very
know,
distinctive, but even like Groot doesn't actually sound like Vin Diesel. So
he does when he's like the grown up Groot,
yeah, a little more than.
not when he's like baby Groot. Is that what they call him, baby Groot? Cool, got it. Any other
um,
cast?
no, I think that's really everyone should watch Frasier. John Mahoney, rest in peace, but he's
to
great.
to sum it all up.
Instead of watching the Iron Giant, we would like you to
Yeah,
watch the
actually, just
television show
completely
Frasier.
don't watch Iron Giant. just
You know,
just watch Frasier.
I haven't thrown in any random Frasier references in probably like 10 to 15 episodes, so I'm
Yeah,
just making up for lost time by having a lot of Frasier references now. But to be fair, at least it's related to the movie because one of the main characters of Frasier voices a character in this movie, so you're welcome.
yeah. Unlike when you tried to relate Silence of the Lambs to Frasier.
Yeah, but that was still funny. All right. Any other thoughts about characters or voice actors, or you want to talk a little bit about the plot? I think we've
No,
covered
let's
a
go
lot of
plot.
the plot, but one thing. So, was Mansley actually wrong to be suspicious of the giant? I would say no.
What I thought about was I have woods behind my house. And if I had seen a giant metal robot peeking up over the woods, I would have lost my shit. Like, I would not be in this house. I think he had every right to be suspicious of the robot. And he doesn't know him well enough. Like, obviously, he's not even his BFF like Hogarth is. Like, he doesn't know what he is capable of or what he's gonna do with that stuff. Like, the it almost makes me think like, okay, so I go to the store and I walk over and this guy's got, 6 guns hanging out of his pocket. Am I just supposed to assume that he's not going to use them? No, because I'm a woman and I live in fear constantly, but that's neither
Yeah,
here nor there. It's just like you don't know what his plans are and he can't communicate anything clearly. I think he had every right to be suspicious.
I agree. What I
Yeah.
think he got wrong and why he comes across as such a buffoon is because he is such a hothead and he goes in with that guns
Goes in
a-blazing
hot.
attitude. If he hadn't
Yeah.
been a hothead and like he'd come at it in a rational way, being suspicious, but also, not like, let's just nuke everything, then maybe he wouldn't have looked like an idiot. But again, this is a movie. We need a villain, and it's obviously Mansley.
Yeah,
Um,
it almost wasn't even that like I feel like they had to really force him to be the villain.
yeah,
Like it wasn't even he could have just been a guy, but they had to steer it towards someone needs to be the bad guy.
yeah. And he's pretty cartoonishly bad. Because like in real life, we don't just have any reactionary idiots that make decisions like that in the government.
Yeah, you're right. That's so awesome that you pointed that out. Yeah.
For those of
Mhm.
you that are not watching on YouTube, I just winked.
We that was a big wink. A big wink. Um, well, I just think that overall it was a very simple plot.
Hmm.
Um, like boy meets robot, boy teaches robot, robot learns, and in the end sacrifices himself. Simple. Not much to it. Tight
Not
movie,
much to
tight
it.
pacing,
Yeah, a good solid 90, like Katie
solid,
loves.
tight 90. Yep.
Katie's seal of approval on the length.
Did she watch with you?
Yeah, she did.
Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. No sleeps, no
No
sleepies.
sleep. She stayed awake for this one. Yeah, so I feel like really everything about the plot we've kind of hit on already. All the notes that I have under plot we talked about during other
Yeah.
spots because it's,
Well, let's
it's not
mix
a very
together
complicated plot, but
cinematic and favorites.
yeah. Do you think we can just combine this into one category going forward?
Yeah,
Because we always
probably,
seem like
because
we
we usually
do.
have the same.
And if
Yeah, we
there's
usually have
something
the same
different, we can
stuff.
just, point it out. Really, I said the scene when they go swimming, even though I think the giant
I
kind
wrote
of,
that too.
well, he did cause basically an ecological disaster. Like, I think he
Yeah,
just destroyed
wow.
the habitat for lots of fish right there. But it was a sweet scene. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And then when he ran back and did his own cannonball, I thought that was
Mhm.
cute and just kind of shows the burgeoning friendship between the two.
Yeah, and learning, like, playfulness too, like,
Yeah.
also through his relationship. Yeah, I agree with that. And I just thought it was just wild to have Dean just kind of float away in his chair, and he was kinda like he still had the newspaper and the fish are, like, going by, and the guy's like, "Hey, man, you're sitting in water over there."
Yeah,
So I
that
thought
was
that was funny.
probably it's one of my favorite scenes, but I think it is the most like cartoonish in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like it's operating on cartoon logic because so much of everything else just it's a little bit more
Uh,
realistic and like a little darker, like you said.
it
And that
almost yeah,
one
it
is
almost
just like
reminds me of,
Looney
like,
Tunes.
a Goofy movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like, you see Goofy kind of underwater, and he's, like, with the fish, and he's like,
yeah,
being a fish with the fish. That's what that reminds me of. So, it was one of those moments that it was like, "Okay, yeah, this is still, like, a kid's movie."
yeah.
Quote, quote, quote. Yeah. Uh, I thought it was funny when he takes him to the scrap yard, to eat, and he's, like, basically salivating. He's like, "Nom, nom," like, seeing all this. I did think it was a wild choice to make a metal robot eat metal, uh, but I guess what would he eat?
I don't know, carrots.
Is
I
it
mean, again,
cannibalism to eat
another
metal?
reason that Mansley might have been correct though is like it's a limited. Sure, we've got a lot of metal, but if that's what he eats, like I don't know. I guess does he also poop metal? Like, are we getting it
What
back?
if he's hungry enough, could he just start
But yeah, maybe. Um, so just a random aside. What else? I mean, I liked. So our next guest, Austin Shu, uh, you may or may not know, listeners, that he does papercraft and makes paper action figures. My friend Tom bought a Iron Giant paper figure
Love's Iron
from
Giant.
Austin. Yeah. And so
What?
when he saw that Austin had made it, he requested that he also add the S to his chest. And I didn't really know that was from
That's
reading the
sweet.
Superman comics and something that he actually affixes to his chest at one point. So now I know exactly like how that works. And I thought, yeah, the whole like the Superman reference and yeah, that was cool. Just especially as someone that is a comic book fan, even though I've never really been a huge Superman guy. Just cool reference and a
Yeah.
personal reference too, because it's something that my friend really likes.
Yeah, on that note, just the Superman sacrifice was
The end,
a
yeah.
beautiful cinematic moment as well. Just making that choice, and it's very human of a robot to make a choice. It's also another reason I don't talk to AI or robots, because they'll one day make the choice to kill you, but that's neither here nor there. But it does tie back to that, just the message of deciding who you are. He decides that he's going to be a hero and not that giant scary
Mhm.
robot. Um, and using his or not using his weapons actually, instead of having them out, pulls them back in and just remembers that he is a friend and not a foe. And that's Superman, friend and not a foe,
Mhm.
from
Because
what I
it
know
turns
about him.
out that the giant is made of lots of guns and stuff, and we do see him get to like vaporize a bunch of army guys. That,
Yeah,
to be fair, he only acts in self-defense. But
that's
that
true.
is true of Superman too. Like if Superman wanted to destroy the entire planet, he probably could,
He
but
could. Yeah.
he uses his powers for good, as the giant chooses to as well.
How about that scene with the deer when the deer got
I
shot
am
and he had to teach him about
sad really
death?
reminded me of Frankenstein.
Yeah, that was I cried at that part actually. Just you you think about all the happy things that, if I met a robot, what I would teach them, or if I could talk to my dog, all the happy things that I would say to him. But it's also there's a lot of like sad things in the world, and it's like deciding that that's the time to have that kind of conversation with him and teach him about death. It was an important kind of turning point in the robot, just learning empathy and learning we shouldn't talk to robots. It's
Probably
freaking me
not.
out the more I'm
What did
talking
he
about it.
say to him? Like something that it's death is sad, but it's not bad. Like every like
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of just a good a nice way to put it
good way to
actually,
look at it.
especially
Yeah,
for a kids movie, just kind of
for a kid
dealing with such a
exactly,
a heavy
for a
topic
kids
like
movie.
that, and yeah.
Mhm.
So good on you, Brad Bird.
Instead of glossing over it, because they do make the character, like we've said, essentially a weapon,
Hmm.
and if he was not put in check at any time during this movie, he would do the same he would just blow everything up. So
Well, he
it's
had to learn
important
it,
to teach the kids yeah, it's important to teach the kids that you can be both. You can be a strong person, but not be a scary person. I'm both. I am strong and scary.
You are scary, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not sure about strong because you complain like that a 60-pound dog is on your lap, but
He too
maybe
heavy.
you might mean inner strength. I don't know.
No, I don't have that at
Uh,
all. Um, what about okay, we talked about the comics. I liked that. The jumping in the lake. And then when he came into the house at the beginning when he's having dinner with his mom and he like detaches his arm and
oh
he's
yeah.
just changing the channel and I thought that was just really funny because he's like, "Get it." And then the mom says, "Will you pray?" And he gives like this most out of pocket prayer. He's like, "I wish
Yeah.
the devil would get out of here." So just some like lighthearted moments that for a, mostly kind of dark thematic film, you needed
And then when he's
those
pushing the hand
lightness,
out
those
the
levity.
window, we get the bathroom scene and the real potty humor.
Gotta have a little poop. We gotta
Hmm.
have a little poop humor. And yeah, that's all I had
Yeah,
on those.
same. We
Yeah,
touched it. Think
touched
we
it.
agree on most of it. Damn it, we're agreeing.
Oh gosh, we knew it would get to this point at some moment. All right, what do you think about that ending then?
It was really bittersweet. Hogarth gets what he's missing. Seems like he has a new dad, and then you kind of see him playing with some friends. They're like all dogpile on each other. So the things that were absent in his life, he's learned how to be a normal kid that can make friends, and his best friend has become his dad, but he's missing his true best friend, the giant. But
Yeah,
lo and behold, we find
still
out that the giant is repairing itself. So
Still
maybe
don't
Hogarth
know
will see
why
him
he
again,
was
or
ostracized, but
yeah, whatever.
uh
Yeah,
I
bittersweet though.
I just wrote that there was really only one ending here. I mean, the option to kill him completely, it didn't exist. Like you got to kind of
Yeah.
end on that happy note, especially since we're marketing this to children. But it was very emotional, you know. Hogarth kind of earned that ending of now I I went through all of this crap and whatever was hard and my mom working all the time and I really had nobody to talk to and yeah, you're right. Now he's got his papa and a bunch of friends and he's probably sharing his comic books with him and everything. So that's nice. But it just took the giant making that sacrifice, which was kind of a bummer.
So I'm
Um
just putting this together. He sacrifices himself to save the town, and then it looks like he is coming back. Do you think the giant is a real Jesus metaphor?
that's not what I thought at all. No.
Just speaking of Easter and Jesus coming back, like,
He resurrected himself,
was
bro.
the Iron Giant just the perfect Easter movie for us to
You
watch?
know what? Turn the whole podcast back. We're gonna go from that angle. We're changing the whole
Recording
thing.
a new intro. Happy Easter, everyone. We can definitely put
Happy
this clip out on
Easter.
Sunday for all of you celebrating Easter with the Iron Giant.
I didn't even realize I wrote bittersweet, but I did. And you
Did
said
you?
that like 4 times, and I literally wrote bittersweet. I did not look at your notes. Listeners, we're becoming one podcast brain.
Mm-hmm. We need to
Gross.
watch,
Get out of here.
I don't know, like a stupid Nancy Meyers movie so I can just really let it have it.
You you just yes, just watch it. Okay. Any miscellaneous that you didn't discuss?
Like, maybe Jen should have just gotten Hogarth a dog. I don't know. Kid's lonely. He's bringing squirrels into the restaurant. Just buy him a dog, man. What are you doing? What kind of mom are you? Yeah, that was my miscellaneous note, other than what did you think of the animation style, but you already said it. So.
My
Get your
miscellaneous
children
note.
dogs.
Yeah,
Sorry.
at the end of the day, just buy your kid a dog. I wrote that it was a great way to start animation month. I think it's arguably agreed upon that this is a really great animated film. Obviously, you've got two friends that go hard for Iron Giant. Um, I'm glad that I could watch it again because, like I said, I don't think I've seen it since it came out in 1999. Uh, so I liked it. Good.
Yeah, good. I liked it. I mean, I wasn't underwhelmed. I wasn't overwhelmed. I was thoroughly whelmed. I thought it was just a good movie. I don't
Yeah,
think
because I
it's
know you can be
necessarily,
overwhelmed and you can be
yeah,
underwhelmed, but do you think you could ever just be whelmed?
I was whelmed, thoroughly whelmed with this movie. I don't think it changed my mind about animation. I don't think I love it as much as my
One of
friends
these movies
Kyle
will.
or Tom.
One of these will do it. It's gonna be
Maybe.
Super Mario.
It will not. But it was, yeah,
It
it was
will
a good
not.
movie, and I'm glad I watched it. So thanks to my friends for, sticking with me like 20 years later.
Do you think they're gonna, excuse me, like stop talking to you now? Like they got what they wanted. They're
That would
done.
be funny if I lost two friends over watching a movie that they actually liked. Huh.
Like their
I
whole
didn't think
mission is
about
to find people
that.
who haven't watched Iron Giant, and then it took them long enough, but they did it, and now they get to move to the next person.
Well, it's been nice being friends with you guys. So if you are listening, thanks for the years of friendship.
Thanks for the
Um,
memories.
yeah, that's really all I have to say about the Iron Giant. Do you have any other thoughts before we close out this episode?
No, I'd like to get to my non-movie shout out because I got a hot one today.
Yeah, well, what's your non-movie shout out?
At the time of this recording, it is my sister's birthday. So happy birthday, Taylor. I love you so much. You are my favorite person. Happy birthday. And let's go Tigers.
I wanted to give a shout out to my podcast host, sister Taylor. It's her birthday. You're my favorite member of the House family. Yeah, Kevin McGonigal. Good start to the season, even though we need some more wins. Happy opening day tomorrow. And my real shout out, Katie told me about a podcast called Point of Disorder, which is a left-leaning political podcast about the state of Michigan. I think their tagline says it's about the Midwest, but everything I've listened to so far has just been about Michigan. So it's actually nice to get a Michigan-focused political thing that focuses on some of the lesser known. It's not just Gretchen Whitmer and stuff. So
Oh, okay.
I am a left-leaning person, and I live in the state of Michigan, and so thanks to Katie for telling me to listen to that podcast because it was a breath of fresh air in an otherwise, I don't know, terrible time. I just feel like post my birthday, I haven't had a lot to look forward to, so this whole not I haven't had anything I wanted to shout out. I'm just kind of like, well, when's the next fun thing gonna happen? Is it the Kentucky Derby? I don't know. So,
It's a long time to wait.
yeah, it's 1 month
I
from today.
actually just speaking of, sorry, I know we're going to be running long, but there are two new people that I was following online, Christy and Dave. They have an account on Instagram, and they are from Detroit, and they are left-leaning influencers, and I really like their content. So if anybody is interested in following, I think they're a great follow.
Do they wanna
So
be on the podcast or possibly come to the derby party?
I'll comment underneath one of their posts like, "Hey, thanks so much for talking about all this bullshit. Do you want to come to the party?"
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
They
So
might be
what are
showing up.
we watching next, Caitlin?
Yeah, it's up in the air, right? It's the Austin Shoe episode. We don't know what it is.
No, Austin's 2 away. And also, we know
No,
what
he's not.
movie. Yeah, look at the schedule, Caitlin. Next week
The
is
schedule says that no. Cut. Rewind. I don't
totally
know.
losing.
I don't know what Austin's having us watch. I thought it was a surprise. I thought that was the whole point.
So,
I think
well,
he
next week
might have
isn't
told
even
you.
Austin's episode. Next week is we are doing what, Inside Out?
Am I even on this show?
I don't know because you were the one that rewrote the schedule. So next week we will be watching the movie Inside Out, the Pixar film. Uh, Again, one of the myriad Pixar movies that I have not seen. And then the week after that, we will be watching Your Name with our friend Austin Shu.
You wrote your name, and I just thought that that was a placeholder for my name. Sorry, just
Well,
my head is just filled with BTS lyrics right now. Like I honestly don't know what I'm doing half the time.
do you think
Trying
you
to
can
learn
tell
Korean.
the people where we are on the internet?
That I think I can handle. That I think I can do. You can follow us on Instagram at theme.onscreen. We're also on Letterboxd, so if you want to follow what movie we're watching, that would be the place to do it. And we're Theme on Screen there. We're on YouTube. You can just search Theme on Screen and you will find us. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, like, subscribe, rate, share us. If
Give
you
us a
share,
review.
give us a review. We have a couple comments. People like commenting on our stuff. But we would like to get some more because we want to hear from you, and that's where you can give us some feedback. We're looking forward to giving you guys more episodes and staying a little bit slightly funny for you. So that's the way to do it.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Wow. Thanks, everyone. And if you're not busy this weekend, make sure you watch old episodes of Frasier. All right. Bye.
Bye.